What's up, everybody? Aaron here. Welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. I got a treat for us today. We are going to be doing the full field test and review on the Silent Hero from Tops Knives. This is one blade that I think a lot of you have been really excited to see in action, and today we're going to take it out, thrash on it, abuse it, use it. I've had it for about 2 months now and just really gone to town on this blade, so you're going to see a lot of different action shots and see what are the capabilities, and really, you know, is it just the hype of, oh, it's another knife, or is this possibly, could this be one of the best survival knives for 2014? We'll have to review this thing, and at the end of the video, I'll let you know my overall opinion on whether or not this Silent Hero from Tops Knives is worth a purchase for you. So let's get out there and begin to review this. All right, let's go ahead and start with the business end of the Silent Hero. What we have is a full tang constructed knife, 3/16 of an inch thick, with handle slabs on either side, made out of 1095 high carbon steel with a very high saber grind. You can see there it's almost a full flat grind, very high saber grind, just basically right where the words are is where it starts to become a saber or a flat grind. So with a real nice drop point, almost spear point design with a really good precise tip. The Rockwell hardness on this knife is 56 to 58, so different heat treats. You got harder heat treat down here, and you can see that through the river wash that they put on here, and I'm loving the river wash coating that Tops is doing now. It makes each knife look a little bit different. I love the kind of gray, flat gray that it has, holding up very well. You can see here barely any scuffing, and there's zero traction, so it's not going to, you know, kind of gunk up your blade when you're cutting through wood. It's a very smooth, very smooth coating that they have on here. But you can see this is the 58 up here by the edge to hold the edge retention, and then a 56 back here along the spine to give it strength with all your batoning and chopping tasks. So the edge length itself from the edge to the tip right here from back to front is 5.75 inches. So great spanning width in my mind, perfect for medium size, you know, survival tasks, bushcraft tasks. And really, guys, what I've found when we were doing all of our cutting and carving tasks, regardless if you are cutting through rope, I mean, this is going to be a great knife, you know, if you're in the military and you need to cut through rope and nylon materials and things like that. That great sweep up, that great amount of belly is going to give you a lot there and going to be able to do a lot for you. So man-made materials, it was awesome, as well as all the carving and whittling tasks, regardless if we were doing feather stick making, you know, and you're just doing that nice fine push cut and you're choking up, you know, and you're using the finger choil and you just got a really good kind of hammer grip style and making feather sticks with the knife. I mean, it did exceptionally well, very fine shavings being able to done with that real nice edge right there. They did a great job at about 20 degrees as the grind angle, or, you know, just a normal bushcraft task, you know, just you know, cutting away at wood and making a spear or a stake, you know, just cutting. I mean, it just has really outdone itself with the slicing capability. If you wanted to use this as a large game processing knife, it's designed to be able to do that if it had to. It definitely has that sweep up and kind of saber design to be able to do that on the blade. Very nice as well. And just in everything we did, even reverse chest pulls and, you know, other sorts of grips, all sorts of different cutting tasks, particularly against wood and, you know, other things like that you're going to find out in the wilderness that you're going to have to use to, you know, make a fire, make a shelter, that type of stuff. The Silent Hero blade is really phenomenal and did an amazing job, and I have no complaints at all. It really stood out from the crowd in this size range because of the blade and its capabilities. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the handle and the overall ergonomics here on the Silent Hero. What you have is their Rocky Mountain tread on the handle scales. Now, I've never used that in that type of micarta, and I've heard in the past with some of their other Rocky Mountain tread designs it was kind of uncomfortable, so I was a little nervous, but I found it to not be a problem at all, and in fact give me extra traction, no hot spots regardless if I'm using gloves or barehanded. Just feels very comfortable, ergonomic in my hand. You can see I wear large size gloves and you got plenty of room to spare. And really, guys, the back end is what makes this knife so impressive and kind of stand out from all the other, you know, kind of jack of all trades blades. The blade itself is great, there's nothing wrong with it, but there are a lot of knives that have very similar blade designs. It's really this back end, not only with the lanyard that we'll talk about in just a second, but also the handle. The handle is very ergonomic. It's definitely more slender and thin than, say, knives like an SE6 or a BK7, which are very similar in size and weight. they're a lot fatter and kind of blockier. This one is slimmer and more ergonomic, and then gives you the more traction with the Rocky Mountain tread, which is really nice. And you also have those little red liners in there that kind of give it a little bit of a pop, but it's just very ergonomic, zero hot spots. Even when I was doing reverse, grips and all sorts of different cutting tasks, regardless of what I was doing when it came to cutting and processing wood, it felt very comfortable. Then it has a real nice, generous thumb ramp right here. Not ridiculous like a BK7 would be or a BK10, but it does have a little bit of jimping, and there is a little bit of a raise there that will also help with wrapping, to a spear if you did want to do that with that upper lanyard hole. And then it has another set of jimping out here, and what you can do when you choke up on the knife and use it like this with the finger choil is that jimping acts really nicely right there on the back of your thumb, really giving you a really good grip, and then you're able to hold it with that kind of up close and personal chest grip, and a hammer grip. And you can either do food prep. It did amazing when it came to food prep and cutting through kiwis and other type of stuff that I was testing on this thing, again with that great edge as well. But that finger choil really helps you out a lot, and you're really able to get up close and personal on your material, regardless if it's game you're processing, food, or wood. And it feels very ergonomic, very comfortable. That thumb ramp does not get in the way at all. And then if you're just using it in a normal grip like this and just doing push cuts, because the thumb ramp is not very aggressive and not really steep, and really cramping your thumb like this, you can do push cuts like this as well without any difficulty, and it's not going to cramp your hand. Or again, just that natural hammer grip is going to feel really good. And that really got the ergonomics on this item are just amazing, and really set it apart from being just a normal knife to being a fantastic knife that you just love holding for an extended period of time without any sort of hot spots or pain in your hand or starting to fatigue your hand. Very ergonomic handle, and I love it. The other thing was batoning. While we were doing all of our batoning tasks, that high saber grind actually helped it with its batoning tasks compared to other full flat grind models that are similar, say like an SE6 that has a full flat grind. This high saber grind tends to help a little bit when you have a saber grind versus a full flat grind with batoning. Now it is 3/16 of an inch thick, so it's going to do a good job, and it's about 6 inches, of actual edge there that you can span logs with. So it's going to do medium to light batoning. This isn't going to be something that you can like just split wood like crazy, and you're going to split 5 logs up and do that type of stuff. It could probably handle it, but there are other knives that will do a better job if you're looking for just a straight batoner that are more like a 1/4 inch thick. And I really prefer 3/16 for this size of knife. I'm not a big fan of big 1/4 inch blades, say like the Steel Eagle. There's nothing wrong with the Steel Eagle, but that's a bigger knife, about double the weight, and it's a lot thicker and just heavier. And so I'm not going to be carrying the Steel Eagle half as often as I would be the Silent Hero, because it's a lot more lightweight and has a better edge geometry to do that more fine detailed cutting work as well. So batoning was fantastic for this size and for its capabilities, and was able to do anything like an SE6 or a BK7 could do, or something like that. Really performed well in all of the batoning tasks. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look here at the sheath. What you have here is a leather sheath, and I've had several leather sheaths now from Tops, and I'm really liking the quality that they're producing with the sheaths. The sheaths are very good quality, US made steer hide, so US cows produced over here, made over here. What you have is a really nice box weave here, good belt loop. You could definitely get a 2-inch belt through, tactical belt or something like that. So that's real nice, kind of drop leg design, so it's not riding up into your hip. I really like that a lot. Double stitching all the way along here. Then you got this really nice little toggle here that you can wrap your paracord through, and that's where the paracord and the whistle come. So that's really nice that it's not just a dangle design, that you can lash it to your leg and really keep it secure, so it's not flapping around if you're running and gunning or doing a long hard hike or something like that. Then what you have is a really nice strong button, and pops over. Now this is where it gets a little hairy, is that the blade, when you're pulling it out, wants to naturally slice along that little lip right there of this snap. And then when you put it in, same thing. It wants to just slide right there. You can see there it's along this leather the entire way. And if you're not careful, you will absolutely, like within 2 or 3 days, basically slice big cuts inside that leather right there. So you basically kind of have to use 2 hands, or make sure that your fingers are kind of pushing that leather toggle to the side, pulling it away, and then kind of putting your blade this way over the toggle, and then pushing it back in to then snap the leather. So not a terrible design, not the best design either. Overall, I would have preferred Kydex, but I'm sure the knife designer did not want Kydex, otherwise they would have produced that. And I will take this definitely over Topps nylon sheaths. I'm not a big fan of their nylon sheaths, so if I had to choose between nylon or this leather, I would take this leather, but ultimately you might want to upgrade to some form of Kydex over the long haul, or just be really careful of that leather toggle. Overall though, for a leather sheath, a really good quality item. Okay guys, let's go ahead and talk about the lanyard situation here, and what in my mind really sets this knife apart from most of the other knives on the market, and particularly knives, you know, just of its same dimensions, same thickness, same weight, you know, those type of things. Really what sets it apart is the dual lanyard. Now they give you attached to the finger choil a really large generous lanyard that you can see I easily ran 550 paracord through, and then a secondary lanyard back here traditionally, you know, set up there. So you could use this obviously to lash, you know, this knife to a large pole or something, you know, and use it to make a spear if you wanted to. I'm not into that thing. I'd rather just carve a spear onto the piece of wood. But what it allows you to do, as you've seen, is just make a strip of paracord there, and now it has really revolutionized the chopping capability of this blade. I can sit here all day and not only do my carving tasks with it being very comfortable, you know, I can do normal push cuts, I can choke up and use the finger choil, and that lanyard's not getting in the way. In fact, it's keeping it on my hand even more so. Even in a tactical situation, if I had it here, no one's going to be able to pull this knife out of my hand, or, you know, it's going to be a lot more difficult for me to lose this blade. And then when it comes to the chopping task, you can easily just get right there and just swing all day, and you're not gonna lose the knife. It's going to stay in your hand. You don't have to reset ever, and it really makes chopping with this Silent Hero a dream. Now, it's definitely not the heaviest blade out there. You know, there are other knives out there that will do a better job because they're heavier, but if you're looking for that medium weight, you know, knife that you're willing to carry on you on really long hikes and different things like that, you know, I don't go on a long hiking trip with my BK9. It's just too heavy. But this is a good weight and has good capabilities, and I can just go to town and chop and chop and chop and chop, and it just cuts through it, and will do it with it never having to reset. And what I've really found with the lanyard, you can see here again, my hand's all in there, I'm backed up ready to chop. Then if I take my index finger and wrap around the outside and really, you know, clamp it around my hand, I can then just swing and 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 swing, and it will stay here all day long without giving me any sort of hot spots, you know, vibrations through the handle. And really, again, this dual lanyard system, Topps has absolutely outdone themselves, and they need to start putting it on almost every single knife, in my opinion. And I hope a lot of other knife companies as well begin to do this, because it turns a 12-ounce, you know, medium-sized knife into a long, all-day chopper. I can chop with this all day long and never get fatigued, never have to reset, you know, lose it, and, you know, starting to wear out my hand and whatever because of that ergonomics on the handle itself. You know, just being very comfortable back there and just keep going and going and going and swinging and swinging and chopping and just ridiculous in my mind. I mean, just really wow is the only word I can say for this type of lanyard design, and I really hope that Topps starts doing this with a lot more of their knives and other companies as well, because it really revolutionizes the chopping capability of any. You can really see how the Silent Hero is absolutely a fantastic large tactical knife. Has this ginormous finger guard right here and groove. You got the Rocky Mountain traction, or Rocky Mountain tread on the handle, so there's no way, and particularly if you're doing that kind of lanyard that we've talked about, there's no way I'm going to fall down and accidentally cut myself. And then it's also light enough, you know, that I can definitely, you know, use the knife really well, real fast, quick, get a good stab in there, and then that drop point, almost spear point tip is going to be able to do lots of penetration, and it's going to be strong enough to take that stabbing abuse, but also fine enough to be able to do a lot of other tasks. And even in a natural grip like that, with that nice thumb ramp and jimping right there, I mean, I am so locked into place. This would be a fantastic large tactical knife if that's what you're looking for. All right, everybody, so you've seen the Silent Hero in action, and if a word was to describe this knife, it would be epic. This is one epic blade. It is so well balanced, so well designed, so well thought out. There is literally nothing in the knife design itself that I can complain about, or the materials. And really what sets it apart, guys, is that dual lanyard hole system right here. I love it, and it really sets it apart in its chopping capability, and I really hope Topps does a lot more knives designed with a dual lanyard hold system like this. I know they have a few that have the hole up top, this down. I mean, there's nothing that I can complain about, and it literally revolutionized the chopping capability and the usage of this knife when it comes to chopping, and really makes it chop better than it should, because it never ever needs to reset, or want to fly out of your hand. Never wants to when you do a dual lanyard hole system like this. So guys, as I said in the beginning, what do I think about this? I'm going to tell you that it's basically the best knife for 2014 for medium weight survival knives that I have seen to date, which is amazing. I mean, it is mind-blowing, powerful. It does everything and anything that I could ask of it, and I would say one of the best medium weight survival knives on the market, period. The only thing that even comes close in its overall design is the SE6. The SE6 has a better sheath, and that's really my only complaint, is I don't like leather. That's just a personal preference. The materials are fine that they designed with this leather sheath for the Silent Hero 4, but I prefer Kydex over leather or nylon. That's just a personal preference. But I mean, once I get a Kydex sheath made for the Silent Hero, this will be the first medium weight survival knife I go to over my SE6. And I love my SE6, not trying to bash it, but it just does things better than my SE6 can when it comes to chopping and the ergonomics. I can hold it in my hand longer and use it for more bush tasks longer than my SE6 can. So this is absolutely one of the best 2014 survival knives I've ever seen, and one of the best survival knives I've ever used here on the channel, and it is absolutely amazing. Finally, just want to wrap this up. Silent Hero is not just a cool name of a knife. It stands for the Silent Hero Foundation, which I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I'll have a link in the description below of what the Silent Hero Foundation is, but in a nutshell, it's basically a foundation that helps support game wardens down in South Africa and kind of the southern part of Africa fight against poachers. And Anton, the designer, designed this knife to be given to those guys for them to be able to use when they're tracking down poachers out there in the African bush, in those locations, so they can process game, make fires, make shelters, and ultimately, if it came down to it, have to do hand-to-hand combat with a poacher, because if you know anything about poaching and game wardens, that is an extremely dangerous job, particularly over in other countries. You can either get life in prison or even the death penalty oftentimes for poaching in some of those countries around the world. So a poacher will absolutely fight to the death if they have to, rather than go to prison or possibly face the death penalty. So that is what is kind of behind this. Anton did an amazing job. Anton, thumbs up, mind-blowing blade. Absolutely tops. Great job putting it together for Anton and for all of us to be able to enjoy. So again, I'll have links below that you can not only donate to the Silent Hero Foundation, but you can read a little bit more up on what this knife stands for. It's a really cool idea and a noble cause. So with all that being said, guys, love this blade, 10 out of 10, highly recommended here at Gideon's Tactical. Save up for it, ask for it for Christmas, your birthday, whatever. If you need a medium weight survival knife, this needs to be at the very top of your list, because it is absolutely worth a purchase. Thanks everybody for watching this episode of Gideon's Tactical. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching this particular episode of Gideon's Tactical. Please subscribe, comment, like the videos, share the videos, and check out our Facebook page. You can find it on the YouTube homepage at Gideon's Tactical. Like our Facebook page, where you'll get updates of upcoming videos, you'll get photos, as well as upcoming gear, new gear releases, that products and companies that are released, as well as behind the scenes footage and bloopers that you'll never see make it to YouTube. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.